Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to do a review on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency. It's something that probably needs to be talked about in the report, but since we're getting towards the end of the year, I'm just going to open this one up and we're going to have an open discussion about crypto, Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, what's going on as we enter the end of the year and transition into 2022. What are we looking at? We can see by the evolution of the trade, which is what we follow when we follow any asset inside the matrix. We're focusing just on the cryptocurrency down here. These are highlighted light purple. They're stocks, but they're also crypto. So this is the bottom designation. They're usually one of the top returners within the primary trend. Ethereum is just slightly ahead of Bitcoin. They've been up for 18 months and 14 months, but we can see there's some trouble developing. We have a downtrend in Bitcoin, and it's now spilled over into the weekly. The primary trend is still up, but as with this consolidation, which could take down Ethereum as well, expands, we're going to need to see an energy build into it in order to stop the decline and turn the market. And these are something this is a common observation, whether we're talking about crypto or we're talking about soybeans or any of the equity markets or energy. When you have a decline and an expanding contraction, trends are fractal in nature. The composite trend is really what we talk about. It's difficult to mark out in a chart and use TA on it because it's really the simultaneous combination of the daily, weekly, monthly, and then I use other parts of my own personal matrix goes into quarterly charts as well. And it really defines what's taking place within any asset inside the matrix. And right now we're in consolidation. The primary trend is up. That's what the evolution of the trade, which is a technique. If you're a subscriber to the matrix, you can click this link and you can go and study up on the 4 major phases. But really the primary trend flip, which took place 14 and 18 months ago, is what established the long core position. And this is maintained until either the price or time cycle get extended and show extension, which they're not. So right now we have to suffer through some type of, well, at least the bulls have to suffer through some consolidation. The bears are foolishly shorting against the primary uptrend, which I wouldn't do. That usually leads to bad things. I say that now, and people don't agree. They will see what I can do until it burns you. Shorting or going long against the primary trend is kind of like swimming against the current in the river, or it's kind of like a rip tide. You're going to wear out, and unless you're trading 15-minute charts or less and taking profits and day trading in and out all the time, it catches up with you, and eventually the primary trends, which are up, re-exert themselves. And we can see that in terms of the energy build, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. So really, Bitcoin, which is the leader in this space, the large market share of it, we track GBTC, which is just the equity tracker for it. It's nothing in particular. It's no real slight against any of the proxies that you can use out there. You can directly invest in Bitcoin or either one of them. This is just what the matrix follows, so we can update this very quickly, and we can study volume and do all sorts of things that we do, or the computer does. So, and we just talk about them here. So we'll take a quick look at the price chart. We can see that as we've turned over, we're entering a consolidation. We're in an important phase inside the reversals, and you can see the reversals inside the reversal tab here, and Bitcoin's right here. I just pulled these over. We study the weekly ones. These are important reversals. Now these do change, and the computer might find something else and adjust these. But for where we stand right now, there's an important reversal really zone between 31 and 39, and it's a wide range. If we get above 39, we're going to make a run to the 48, 49 reversal. The problem is it's starting to weaken already, and it might not be possible to do that. And the fact is we don't have a ton of bullish energy in order to flip this, and we're going to talk about that in a second as well. These are the charts. You can see the numbers, you can see the reversal zones, you can modify a chart This is my own version of the chart, which the computer generates for me, and I pull these into the reviews and I pull these into the reports. I have a report running for Bitcoin right now. It's far more sophisticated than what we're going to talk about here. I'm not sure we're going to update the report yet because there's nothing quite there. We're just going to keep this open as the holiday season goes through, and I want everyone to get a chance to look at even the Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin, you can see in terms of the GBTC, these are the reversals that the computer marks in. Everything above price is red, except for this one on the computer. This is a longer term one, and it's probably going to disappear. It's what happens when you calculate reversals on a weekly basis. But these numbers these zones right here are legitimate, and they're green, so the price is above them. But you can see if we lose this area right here and then we lose here, the next reversal zone is way down here, and Bitcoin's going to go through a really nasty correction and decline if you fall through these zones. Now the computer can pick up other ones as we go, and let me zoom back out. It could pick up other ones. So if you're a subscriber to the matrix, I want you to keep an eye on the reversal tab and keep an eye on these numbers, and the weekly in particular. The monthly has some, but they're way down there. So it's like, just keep an eye on these for now. They will modify. The weekly reversals are usually solidified at the end of the week, but you can see them from day to day. If we knock through these and nothing else shows up in between here, this distance between here and here is an air pocket. These will turn red and price will fall quite rapidly all the way down into the lower band. This is the real risk for Bitcoin. If you're not aware of it, you're not prepared. And if you're not prepared, you're just going to take a hit. Now, the internet has no idea how to study fractal trends or even study proper supply-demand zones. So my guess is there's going to be real panic if this gets taken out, because the internet's full of inexperienced traders, and they're learning. I mean, that's how we all get started, but you need good information, and that's what the matrix is all about. And perhaps you will consider using the computer as your tool and an ally rather than just guessing or using what I would consider to be traditional TA that floats around the internet, which is pretty much garbage anyways. We are going to study cycles, and they come into play here, and we can talk about those for a quick second here. We can see that the daily trend is defined here, the weekly trend is defined here inside the matrix. If you subscribe, you can see all this stuff. The monthly trends are here. If you're trying to time the end of this correction, you're going to be looking for cycles. Here's the price cycle, here's the time cycle, BRS, BRST for time, and they exist on multiple time frames. Here's the weekly here, here's the price, and here's the time cycle. Now these have to go above 2 to be dangerous. They have to get above 1 to be red. They're blue right now, so these are something that the computer is keeping an eye on. But none of these are super extended, so the consolidation is going to continue. And the consolidation, I don't suspect we're going to get extended readings in the weekly. It is the daily that will get extended in 2 standard deviations or more. That will help time a reversal of the consolidation against the primary uptrend. So outside of that, we study these reversals. If these give way, considering that the time cycles on the daily are not extended yet to the downside, so it's not prime for a reversal. The only thing that can generate a better reversal would be an energy build. And this is something that's also located in the matrix right here. There's no energy for Ethereum because it doesn't trade in the futures and options market. Futures in particular is what we use. If you click this link, you're going to get a chart that looks like this, and you're going to see these various energy builds, and I'm going to go into a more interactive database. But what you're looking for as price drops down and hopefully holds above these reversal levels, you want the energy build to go up rather than to, and a downward drift is what it's doing. That's what's a bit concerning about Bitcoin as it consolidates here. Energy is not organizing and rallying above 0.60 or 60%. It's actually falling as we consolidate, and that's a sign that the invisible hand wants out. The professionals, the deep pockets, are looking to sell, and they are selling. They're distributing, and the public is buying, and that's a bad combination. So let me take a look into the interactive database so we can end this up. I don't want to make this review too long. As this pops up, we're going to take a look at what's really taking place. The size of the energy build. This is more in the caliber of reports. I do have a Bitcoin report. It's underneath the video. It's an ongoing report, should last through all the entire 2022. It was generated in 2021, and we go through sophisticated cycle analysis as well as detailed energy analysis. And I'm going to do some of that right now here, open the review, and I don't want to go too long, but we're going to isolate here now some of the bullish energy builds, because that's what we're looking for. As price comes down, we want to see energy, and now the computer's highlighting all white where there's a bullish energy build, and you can see how it generally turns the market here, turns the market here. We're not seeing anything that's white that's showing up right here, and that's the problem. This is not generating an energy build, and if we isolate some of the energy builds relative to open interest and participation, you can see that the computer really focused on the last spike or drop down, and it really was interested in buying it. But we don't see any of that right now. This just basically reinforces the problem that exists. The invisible hand is not accumulating this decline yet, and as we head towards those lower reversals, it is those lower reversals that we need to hold, and to hold them, we need energy. There's also different ways of calculating energy. They're not too relevant now, but I'm going to show a few of them. This one looks at the speed and the power of the energy build, and you can see how strong this energy build was right here, right in this area, and how it generated such a powerful rally. We don't see any of that right now. The energy builds both in DI and DI2 are bullish and with a bullish bias, but they're still relatively neutral. So this is not a market that's really showing anything significant yet. Again, these are concepts that we're going to talk over inside the report. When I see something that's it's more advanced, it's what we can't breach into a normal review. Normal reviews talk about setups, and let me head back to the matrix here. We talk about setups that are inside the matrix, and there's nothing here. There's nothing really to focus on. We talk about seasonality, but again, sometimes you have to look underneath the hood. We can also look in terms of how long this cycle is going to last. We have these numbers here, but the computer can give me a good idea of when the turn's going to come, and I'm going to give you a hint. It's going to most likely take place towards the end of January if it's going to happen. You can use that and combine that with some of the seasonality. Again, January tends to be a fairly weak month. There's usually double digits across the board. January is one of the weaker months, and some of the weakest is in June in the summertime. But that's the problem, and I think we're going to have softness until we go in through January, and then the turn comes in February, possible. But we're going to have to see how the energy build resolves itself during that correction, or during the consolidation that we're seeing right now. So the market is currently in consolidation. It's entering high compression, or this is what the down COM arrow means, which means that the volatility across the 3 time frames are tightening, and that means something's coming. That either means it's bullish and we're getting another resolution to the upside, or it could mean a hard downside break, especially if these reversals right here do not hold. So keep an eye on these, especially if you're a subscriber and you subscribe to the matrix here. I doubt it's going to happen in December, but keep an eye on these in early January, or in January in 2022 or first quarter. I think this needs to hold. If it doesn't, and the computer doesn't find any more reversal zones here, we're going to get a sharp break way down here, and it's going to scare the crap out of everyone who's inexperienced. If these go, I wouldn't, if you've got a lot of leverage, I wouldn't stick around and hang around too much. But it is into that decline that the invisible hand should accumulate. It should accumulate, and these numbers should go up. They're somewhat neutral with a bullish bias, and then this number here will go down. So it's something to watch and keep an eye on into early 2022. If you have any questions about what we talked about in this review, let us know. This is an open one for everyone to keep an eye. It gives you an idea of what reviews are like. It also gives you an idea what the type of content reaches the reports. Reports are going to be more sophisticated than this, and they're also available. reports are how I think about markets, and that's something that's a little bit more complicated than the average review. It doesn't mean that complicated is bad. I know the internet likes to keep things simple. The world is not simple. The world's geometric, it moves fast, and it works in a simultaneous fashion. The old books of charting and simple trend lines, they're completely bloody useless. I keep telling people that, but it just makes people angry in general. I think the more seasoned subscribers here to the Matrix definitely understand that. They learn to study the three time frames together. And while you can still use support and resistance zones and trend lines and moving averages, they just get pushed to the back seat. They're just not as important. You can tell when a trend aligns across three time frames and it's early and the cycles are set up and there's plenty of energy. There's nothing that will stop the freight train. But the problem is you have to be patient. You can't rush into the room and buy every day. You have to wait for the right setup, and the right setup for Bitcoin is not right now. Especially if you're bullish, you have to wait for these three time frames to align, and we need to see an energy build form. So thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you keep an eye on Ethereum and Bitcoin coming up, and I hope you subscribe to the Matrix in 2022.